This is the Business Chat Podcast.
And welcome back to the Business Chat. It's season 5, and we're at the Bamboo offices downtown Detroit, where I'm hosting, but I'm kind of co-hosting, and we're meeting friends of Sean.
So grateful.
My co-host has another one of his friends here today, Miss Klye Anne, who I know, I've met her. And at the round table, I loved how you introduced yourself last and said, hey, unlike some of you, your career was kind of this thing. You're like, I wanted to do this since I was a kid. I love that answer. Yeah, that was so cool. So yeah, Klye Anne Johns, everybody.
Well, thank you very much, my friend, for, first of all, being my friend. And second of all, for agreeing to be on the show, The Business Chat with Drew. I'm so grateful to you, Drew, for allowing me to have some of my great friends and the infinite wisdom that I get from them, so that we can share it with all of you that are listening in or watching on this now. And so I know one of the things that's cool about our podcast, or the podcast you have that you've allowed me to so graciously sit on, is that, you know, it's just 3 real people talking about issues and how can we become better as human beings. And
yeah,
I think
as
that's
it pertains
the key.
to business, and you're right, in life. Correct.
Exactly. And so I think it's like, how can we take something and implement it immediately into our lives today and become a better person, personally and professionally. And so I'm grateful for you giving me the opportunity to do that. Grateful, Klye Anne, that you're here to hang out. So I'm excited to ask you a series of questions. And so that all of the listeners in here, so get ready. So I feel like one of those announcers, like a boxing person.
So all the reverb comes in, get ready.
Get ready. So anyway, I think the first question to my friend Klye Anne, who I want to say is, you are one of the greatest bankers, one of the smartest people that I know, that you take the approach of caring for somebody on the banking side, and it's truly relational. Whereas you hear so many banks talk about, oh yeah, we'd love to do your loan, we'd love to handle your deposits. You actually truly care about the clients that you serve. And I've witnessed that, I've experienced it. We have mutual clients together, and I've seen it, and it's amazing. So you are an amazing person, and it's fun to see that. And I know that our clients that are listening to this would absolutely high five. So make sure you hit the thumbs up.
That's right.
On this.
Subscribe, smash buttons.
That's exactly. And tell us that Drew is awesome.
You don't have to do any of that. Just thanks for listening.
So anyway, but so if you would, the first question I have for you is, talk about an epic problem that, and this can be personal or professional, that you have helped an organization or have dealt with yourself, that you have helped solve, right? And by epic problem, right, what I mean by that is, truly epic is one that is, you can't write a check and make it go away. You have to work collaboratively. You have to think strategically and implement tactically. So share with folks that are listening today, and they're driving to work or they're walking on the treadmill, whatever that is, the epic problem that you have solved or found solution to, personally or professionally.
So it's unique. It ties into banking, but it doesn't. But it's something I run into all the time, and it's helped me connect and resonate with clients on a different level, because we all have the same problem, and I feel like people are worried about talking about it, or there's like some stigma, but anyway. So my big problem, and it doesn't sound deep, but it is. So once your kids get to that tween age, they're out of daycare, they're out of the nanny, they're out of the au pair, whatever option you choose, or you know, mom's not staying at home anymore. And then you're in the workforce, but your kids aren't teenagers yet. You know, they're not driving, they're not fully mobile. Like, what do you do with them? You know, they have opinions. They have opinions. They have lives.
Lots of opinions.
And we have careers, right? That we're very passionate about. But what's our first foremost thing is our kids. So kids these days, they've got sports and orchestra and friends and commitments. And we are like careers, and we're working, and we want to be there for our clients. So how do you balance that? And how do you get your kids home from soccer practice and you aren't checking out of work at 4:00? So the way I help that internally is I try to be very flexible with my team, and the bank allows me to do that for both me and the bank. So if people want to drive their kids to school, or their elderly mother to the senior center, or they want to pick them up, no problem, we can do that. But I also, in talking to clients, I found that they have the same problem. Like they want to meet, and what do they do with these kids? So I think just finding resources, or, you know, I know this person that could drive, or that, you know, we help each other like that. From a workplace, we can be flexible, But as clients and friends and coworkers, just understanding that you're in that tough phase and it's not going to last. Just saying like, I can meet you after, I can do a quick Zoom and then we can go in person, or just like keeping in mind and having that flexibility and still not taking people out of that career, that workforce, not discrediting them. That's what I think is important, just to be knowledgeable.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I'd like to support or fund somebody that starts a business that's like security check, and it's basically like a shuttle for tweens.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to start that business, I want to finance them.
Add comments below if you are that person.
Klye Anne John's
please,
information,
we'll put
her
our contact
LinkedIn will be
information.
linked. That's
Yeah,
right.
I mean, like maybe I'd put an investment in that company
Maybe
or something.
it might be interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
But that's the problem I run into the most. And once I started talking about it, not only with colleagues, I realized that clients have the same issue.
And what I like about the inference there is it's good to have kids, to have families. So don't let that good thing become a problem. I mean, it'd be a whole different episode, you guys, but I love your passion behind that, because it's like these kids need us, need you parents listening right now. You don't get that time back.
Right.
So that's critical. And we're also on an average kind of age scale generally. If you've got a tween, as you put it, you're probably between 35 and 45. So you're in your, what do they call that phase? I mean, there's other names for it, but you're really starting to move into that management, refining, you're editing who you are, you're becoming pre-sage, and it's pretty important years of being a manager. And you're not new to the workforce.
You've got over 20 years in.
Yes.
You actually know a little bit about what you're talking about.
Right.
And you want to help bring up that next generation.
Right.
So just being mindful and...
Love the way that you kind of made that about, and the solution, you're right, being flexible. And so the question I would have, I guess it totally relates to that. For you and for listeners going, okay, we have this banking expert, we have this young lady with kids, she's got, a heart for that. Talk to me about your purpose. Tell Sean and I kind of, the listening audience, as Klye Anne John's just, my purpose is, here's what I feel it personally, right, in the home and life, but also kind of professionally too. And if they overlap, great. If you can focus on one or the other, but love being able to allow you to go, I really feel my purpose in the home is this, or in my life is to help people with. Oftentimes we've had guests that go, it's kind of one and the same, business and professional, but purpose. Talk to me about what you feel your purpose is right now.
So my purpose is, and like what drives me, I want to make an impact.
Yeah.
And I want people to remember me when I died. And what I want them to remember is like Kyle cared. Like she actually cared about me. And obviously the people that know that I care about them first and foremost is always going to be my family.
Right.
Cool. I love my family. They come first. But my clients, my family, my friends, I care about them too. I can't be there for everybody, for everything. But I always tell somebody, if you need me, I'm going to be there. I can't go to every single thing. But my purpose is to like really be there. I really care. And I want people to remember that, like when I was gone. I want them to feel like special.
And do you feel like that does actually trickle into the professional encounters you have in banking?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like the repeat clients you see, you really are like, hey, just so you know, I'm there for you. If you have any questions, and feels like you don't really have any, boundaries that way, or the better word would be it's not in little silos. It's like, this is who I am.
No, if I care about you personally, I care about you professionally. Yeah. I do really believe that we can all grow, that we can all succeed.
Cool.
I don't believe you have to hold other people down. So I feel like as we grow and elevate ourselves, we pull up as many people with us.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's kind of like that's how
your
I go about it.
Yeah, your ethos. Cool. Yeah.
So one of the things I think that's really, really important too is for people to understand how you function and how you lead your team at Independent Bank, right? And how does your organization function? We've talked about the flywheel numerous times, you and I. So what is the process of how you and, the Independent Bank team, how you guys function? How do you guys operate?
Well, I will tell you, high level, and shout out to you, Sean, I function a lot more efficiently now that you've helped me with my perfect producer calendar. So we're more efficient. Nice. Actually, the reason I chose Independent Bank is because I can have a personal relationship with the people I work with.
Very cool.
So our president, our executives, our headquarters is in Grand Rapids. Mm-hmm. We have a large presence of executives also in Troy. And what I like about Independent Bank is I can always call, text or like physically reach out to someone. So obviously, like, we like to be efficient in our communications and things like that, but I have a local board, a local executive team, and I can physically see people, talk to them. It's not, outstate or something like that. I'm not always on a Zoom with people. So that's first and foremost. Gotcha. And then the way I work, I like to have because I've got family and kids and schedules and friends and work and clients, and I'm trying to balance that out. Sean actually really helped me with a calendar, so I could put some boundaries in. Okay. But putting boundaries in has helped me make sure that the time I spend with people, I'm very focused on them. Great. So I have everything kind of in a box, but when you're in that box of time,
they got you.
You got me. Yeah. There's no distractions. I don't have my phone out. Occasionally you do, but
because that's real life.
That's life.
That's been a recurring theme.
It's life with kids.
Unlearn how to just have conversations again.
But when I'm with people, I'm with them. And the other important thing I've done is I have built more time in for no schedule, for when you got a friend that needs you, or when you're burnt out, or when you want to double down and read your 50-page report or your legal documents and you need to be uninterrupted. So I think having that time that is unscheduled, that you refuse to schedule, is really, really critical as well.
Yeah. Blocking off your calendar to go, 3 meetings is enough.
And by the way, you can block off your calendar for yourself too. Yeah. Which is something I've started doing, and my goal this year is to add one more block of time for myself to hit that gym a little more.
Cool. Well, I think it's so critical, right, to protect your capacity. And I think so often we don't do a good job as individuals guarding our capacity. Mm-hmm. And so when you and I obviously worked through a lot of that, did some cool whiteboarding, and I think in doing that, really you can do more with less when you put that boundary in. And so for the listeners out there, I think it's critical that they realize like they can take control of their time more than they think, and to give themselves capacity to be more effective as a human being. And so because you have that capacity back to be more effective, talk about the experience that people have now as a result of that. Yeah. And you shared a little bit about it, but from a client perspective, share a little bit about that, or internally or both, like that experience now, because you're protecting that capacity. What do people experience because of that?
Well, I think what's really important, so for example, last week I did some strategic planning offsite with my team. And because of that, what was really important to me is that there were certain clients that I wanted to make sure I saw that quarter. Right. And there was also a certain amount of time wanted to spend with my team, a certain amount of time I wanted to spend taking care of myself. There's a certain amount of time I wanted to spend like traveling to Grand Rapids and meeting with my peers. And I scheduled a vacation in there too. But because of that, because I took that time and I prioritized things, I'm meeting in the next 90 days with every single client that was a top priority for me to meet with in the first quarter. And I've still balanced in some time that I can read a book, work on a report, take a nap, take a trip, so that when I'm with people, I'm refreshed, my eyes are open, I'm not on my 5th cup of coffee. Right.
And you said it earlier, they're experiencing your undivided attention. They feel important.
They're getting the best version of me, which allows me to help them best. And what I was lacking before is I wasn't really taking care of myself as much. I thought doing more would make things better.
Common, yeah.
And that's not actually really helping anybody.
I'm still learning that right now.
Oh, I'm still learning.
Well, I think too, one of the things that, you and I, when we went through and kind of looked at your time and enabled you to have more control of it, I think you need to give some honor to yourself and allow yourself to, have that control. And so you did a tremendous job of taking control of that, but not losing sight of being able to deliver actually at a high level of excellence to the team members, your family, and the customers and clients that you serve.
This episode of the Business Chat is sponsored by Here City. Here City, where you and your potential customers go to find great local places to eat, stay, and shop. You're looking for an alternative to the same directory and review websites and struggle to put out content but happy to sponsor that content? Here's a network of AI-powered websites and community websites feature real business news and local articles, get tons of local traffic, Traffic that could be going back to your business. Our business directories list your business in their directories, of course. You can add a featured business spotlight for more details on your business. And you could also sponsor industry articles, like this one you see right here, that could be going back to your site. People read the article or they see your business spotlight, they click, they find you. It's that simple. For more information, visit hearcity.com.
So scheduling can be an epic problem. And sometimes it's good to just grab a friend, have a cup of coffee, grab somebody on your like personal board of directors, I like to call it, and just say like, hey, I'm really struggling with this. Like, I need another opinion. You know, I can't see the forest through the trees.
Right.
Like, what would you do differently?
Yeah.
And I think it's hard. You know, you're 20, 25 years into a career and you're like, oh, I don't want to ask for help on something like this.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just need somebody to say like, oh, it's okay. My schedule's packed too. Like, oh, I did this and it worked. And
humility's on the top of the list of people that are successful. Totally. I agree. Yeah,
I think what you
it's
said
great.
is key though, because I know you and I have a really cool relationship where we have I would say a vulnerability based trust relationship. And I think that that's something that's lacking so much amongst just people, but also executives that can share that, hey, it's lonely at the top and I'm dealing with this. And that's one thing I appreciate about you is that you and I literally can share like, okay, this is something I'm strong. What should I do here? Because I'm at a loss for words, right? And both of us are at the tip of the spear and where we're at. And so I think that that's something that so many people need to find that. And Patrick Lencioni talks about it, you know, in his book, the Five Dysfunctions of a Team and Ideal Team Player, which are tremendous books. If you haven't got those, I definitely recommend everybody get them. But to me, people aren't going to communicate that, though, what's really going on unless there is vulnerability-based trust. And I think that when you look at who someone's going to have that vulnerability-based trust with, it's probably on one hand.
oh yeah,
Those people that
It's
you're going to
under
really
5.
share that. And I think that, but some people don't even have one.
Right. Yeah, if you're
And I
listening to
think-
this, get that group. Start thinking of who
So
that might
figure
be.
out how to have, if you start with one and have that, how just freeing mentally,
Yeah,
right?
that's great.
That you're able to get that, you know, in essence, take the head trash out, if you will, with a friend.
Yep.
And we've gotten a little bit better with the importance of mental wellness and psychotherapy as a country, but we're not where we need to be.
Yeah.
So even if it's just being a friend to somebody that, or like truly caring, let's say, hey, is there something you need to talk about that's just whatever off the record? Do we need to? They need to get that out. Sometimes I find talking and processing it is key.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I love about our conversation so many times is that we can really talk about what's going on so that either of us can make wise decisions personally or professionally, which I think is very fortunate. So I'm grateful for that.
It's fun for me too because I'm learning from you guys as I meet your friends, and I understand kind of the different mechanics, things going on with y'all's, like, you know, relationships as professionals. It's very cool. And to folks listening, the point of having a chat like this is so that we can kind of let the themes bleed over and say, be honest, there's no way to make this your personal and this is work, and some of it's got to be symbiotic. So
A little bit.
yeah. So we're going to whiplash a little and kind of move a different direction a teeny bit. But this is the shameless plug kind of moment here. So folks have been listening. Maybe they missed the intro. I have it on good authority. You work for one of the largest private banks in Michigan. Isn't that right?
I work for Independent Bank, and
go.
we are the largest bank by deposit size, headquartered in the state of Michigan.
Very good.
And
Great.
I really like this bank, and I hope I retire from this bank.
Amen. Excellent. So what is your role? What's your title?
Oh man, I'm a
Those
senior.
are two different questions. So yeah.
Yeah,
What's your title?
I'm the senior vice president, and I manage the commercial middle market banking group for Troy.
Okay.
So think of it soup to nuts. I have a small business focus in that too. So anything from like 25,000 to probably 30 million, we can go higher with a participant. If you need
It's
that
a
money
range.
for your business, we can help you.
We would talk to you.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
would talk to me. And our sweet spot is privately held businesses. Don't do a lot of private equity, that kind of thing. It's privately held family businesses.
Family businesses, yeah.
Mergers and acquisitions, succession planning, buying owner-occupied real estate, equipment, tech, accounts receivable financing, checking accounts. It could just be a checking account and an ATM, or it could be something very complex with like MEDC grant money, historic tax credits. I mean, it can run the gamut.
Yeah.
And I always tell my clients, you have my cell phone, text me, I'll help you. I don't care if it's an ATM card or yesterday somebody called and needed 18 million. Like, I'll help you. I'll quarterback it. Do I do everything? Absolutely not. It would be a nightmare if I did.
Yeah.
But I'll put you with the people and I'll make it happen. And if I can't make it happen, I'll give you to another bank or another professional, because there's nothing worse than turning somebody down and just giving them nothing.
Well, and it's kind of, you answered a little bit the next question. So great plug, by the way. I love that. So you said a lot of things, a lot of banks could hear and go, we do that too. What is, maybe that's not how they sound, by the way, with the finger.
A lot of them are.
What truly differentiates? So everything you said is a yes, and those are great things. What differentiates your bank?
Well, we're here. We're local.
Yeah.
We actually physically come see you. Yes. I've already been in 3 cities today, and I'm going to another one.
Okay.
So my
office. You guys
office,
are on the road.
Yeah.
So old school, face to face.
Face to face.
Love it.
I get a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls, but I can always text somebody back something quick or connect them with somebody else. Okay. There was, like, for example, there was a referral from a friend, which was always top priority for me. And the scheduling was just tough this time of year with breaks and people being out. And I picked up and called the guy and I said, listen, I'm on jury duty next week, but you're a friend of a friend. And like, what do you need right now? And what's your availability look like? Maybe I can't drive out to see you, but we could jump on a Zoom, you know?
Great.
And then I can drive out to see you next week. How do I get your immediate needs solved?
Yeah.
And how do we get you what you need?
So what I'm hearing is it's personal touch, it's showing up, it's having that one-to-one.
And I can't do everything right now. I can't do everything in a week.
Right. You're not the end all be all.
Nobody can. Yeah. But I can say, all right, this absolutely has to happen now. Sure. Let's crush this. We'll punt this for 2 weeks. Talk to this person. And I don't think a lot of big banks do that. And you know what? Big banks are great at certain things. They are. They can beat us. If you want a fancy merchant service dashboard and credit card, they might beat us.
And that's the case with any service, right? At some point you start going, hey, you're splitting hairs if you're that big that you need this dialed in. I love that. I love that you just painted the picture of that SMB, family owned. You're speaking to so many in Michigan that applies to. So you're not trying to be all, and that speaks to the bank to go, no, this is what we unashamedly are kind of, your team, right, is focusing on. And people want that. They go, man, I'm on the phone with Chase, Wells Fargo. See, I said the names. You didn't have to. Yeah. Right? And it's like, hey, that's just the wrong tool for you.
Right.
Like, you're here. You need to be with people you can.
And listen, like, I've got friends at Huntington. Yeah. They can do some great stuff. Yeah. I've got friends at credit unions. We're great at what we're great at. Yeah. And what I think's really special is if we aren't the right fit, we'll tell you. We have friends other places. Like, I don't want people to not get what they need. I would prefer to do it. Yeah. But if I can't,
that's great.
That's okay.
Well, and in those stories of where you're picking up the phone, you're paying that visit, telling someone, I can't pay that visit. Give us, and this is your opportunity to, without names or specificity to whatever degree you'd like, kind of some stories. Like, when did you see the greatest impact? And you could say, in business to an organization, or maybe it was just to an individual. It could be the same thing. Maybe the story is more about, hey man, this one time this guy was turned down for these loans and we spent the extra time and figured out how we could deliver what he needed or what have you. But yeah, a story.
So I've thought about this in 2 ways. I got two things that really have resonated. Okay. So one's kind of the full circle thing. I started at Comerica a long time ago, and I had an executive mentor there. I was privileged enough to have one. I stayed in contact with her for many years. I actually work with her now. So fast forward 24 years later, we work together again. Cool. So how fun is that? Nice. At another bank that I was at before, which will remain unnamed and was not a bad bank, I had a credit analyst, and it actually was her daughter. So the woman that helped me my whole career that I've stayed in touch with, even when we worked for competitors. Oh, wow. Okay. Her daughter now is part of our team, and she's doing the analytical stuff to support my clients. So I had the opportunity to go out on client calls with her and work through underwriting packages. And I mean, a lot of people mentored her, helped her, but I was able to help somebody that was the child of somebody helped me. And then when it came time for her to find another job, I was able to lob in a call to a friendly competitor and just say, I mean, she'd have found her own job anyway, and she she's very capable. But I was able to call another peer and say, this girl's great. I wish I could work with her. But when you're able to see those long-term relationships pay off, and you can kind of help that next generation come up in their career, and you can play just, even if it's a small role, that's really special.
Love it. Great story.
And
love how that's impacting that.
I had another client. I can't tell you exactly what you would do because people would probably know who it is, but they were at a big bank and they needed, I want to say it was like $3 or $4 million, which is, it's a lot of money.
Sure.
I don't have $3 million sitting in my checking account to go
not a small
buy
number.
it. They needed, well, I just moved it into a different account, they were looking for an owner occupied building, and these guys were great. They had wicked strong cash flow. The building they were buying was very unique. It was a very unique concept. It was really cool. And because of their size and the big bank, they just kept getting referred to a branch manager, which, hey, no problem there. But a construction project on a unique kind of building for a unique industry, a couple $1 million, like there really was just no home for them.
Right, I understand.
And somebody said, call Kyle. So I went out, drove out to, I think it was Plymouth at the time, drive out there. It's raining or snow, some Michigan, awful weather. Yeah. I meet with them, I listen, and I'm like, man, this is the coolest project ever. I'm like, we're going to do it. Took my boss out there. He loved it. Next thing you know, we sped it through the approval process and got him a construction loan. They morphed a building that was something else into their dream owner-occupied building. Cool. And they're still a client to this day, and now they're so successful, we only have deposits with them, really, that's great, too. They don't need my money. But what was cool is I met really interesting people who needed something, and they just weren't quite fitting in. Yeah, I understand. And we were able to just swoop in.
It was custom. It was different. It needed you to go look at it and say, okay, now I see what this is.
Yeah, like you actually had to physically go out, see their vision. And I was like,
So mixed-use property, unique hybrid deal, owner-occupied. Yeah. Cool. Great story. I love it.
It was cool.
That's great.
So I have one final question for you before. Sure. So as people are, finishing their drive to work or finishing up their workout on the treadmill as they're listening to this, what would you say is the number one thing that somebody could implement today, right now, by listening to this podcast to you as a successful executive that would bring them greater joy and happiness in their life? What's the one thing they could do personally and or professionally to do that?
Or one thing that contributes to it.
Yeah.
We know that one thing may not solve that.
Right. Yeah. So what would you say that is?
Okay.
What advice would you give?
It's simple, but I don't think it's simple when people actually do it. I think
maybe simple, but not easy.
Simple. That's it. It's simple, but it's not easy. I think you have to stick to your brand and stick to your values. You can't be successful if you're not authentic. Just be true to yourself, because as much time as we spend working, family, whatever we're doing, if you get away from your personal brand or your personal value, you're just not going to be successful. So
well said.
I love it. And I think it's so cool. And I think that to me, it's a person who has a group of trusted people around them can encourage them to do that. Because what I've found is the pressures outside our world is to conform to the patterns of this world, right? And so obviously we know that, anybody that reads the Bible knows that do not compare to
that sounds
do not
familiar,
conform
bro.
to the patterns of this world.
Yeah,
right? It's really important.
Stole that from something.
So it's in the New Testament. So I think one of the key things is that you're giving people or telling them, because you've been able to do that, to have the courage to stay true to themselves, what their values and their brand and that is. And I think that to me is awesome, is that so anybody listening today to hear that, male, female, whoever it is that's driving into work or walking on the treadmill, is take that courage to stay true to themselves, because it's going to serve them well at the organization they're at, or perhaps at the next organization they need to move to.
Yeah. That's right.
So, that's awesome. Well, I really appreciate you hanging on with us today. And thank you. I'm so grateful for your friendship and and all of the insight that you've obviously given me over the years. And thank you for hanging out with
Yeah,
everybody.
I'm stoked to get to know you. And this has been just fun to chat and watch you guys have inside
friendship,
jokes
fellowship, snacks, Detroit.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
What more could you want, right?
I mean, really nothing.
Yeah. Well, the 3 F's, three F's of KPIs would be fun, food, and fellowship. And I think we've achieved that in our conversation.
It was great. And so we will link Miss Klye Anne John's content, LinkedIn, etc., her place of employment, all the things, maybe an apple pie recipe, whatever you'd like to link. We'll put it there for the episode. And thanks for listening in. Klye Anne, thank you again.
Thank you both.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
The Business Chat is a production of Suited and Suited Studios. End the chaos and experience marketing relief with one full-service solution. Visit looksuited.com for more information.